I just want my family to be safe, so having fire sprinkler system in the house really gives me peace of mind for when we're sleeping at night.
We also have my mother-in-law living here, and so we want to make it safe for her. The fire sprinklers are truly going to keep our family safe.
Homeowners have never been as aware of security and safety as they are now.
You know, when we look at adding an amenity like sprinklers in the homes, you know, we first start with our consumers, and so we're always looking for advantages that we can offer our buyers. And we know from our past experience that the more that these systems are installed, the cost will go down. And I can foresee, you know, in just a few years, every home that'll be built will have these systems installed in it. We think it is a smart business decision.
Hi, I'm Ron Hazelton. As I've often reported on Good Morning America, a home fire can be a devastating tragedy. The damage from smoke, fire, and water can be catastrophic. Families are uprooted, the aftermath is unimaginable, and sadly, in many cases, there is loss of life. The majority of fatal home fires occur at night when we're sleeping. It can all happen so quickly. A fire can reach deadly proportions in as little as 3 minutes.
Well, in a typical fire at a house, I think a lot of people are under the impression that we're there in 2, 3, 4 minutes, and it's just not true. Once you discover the fire and call the fire department and we respond, you're talking not 4 to 7 minutes, but 7 to 12 minutes before we arrive on a scene of a fire.
These are deadly conditions for anyone still inside the home, and if occupants were able to escape, the home is likely to be a total loss after burning that long.
New homes do burn. We can build homes and buildings that are going to last for hundreds of years. The problem comes when we start putting people inside those buildings. Most of the fires that we see are caused by the activities that the people are doing inside their home.
Smoke alarms warn people of fire. Sprinklers actually control it, suppress it, and usually extinguish it before firefighters even arrive on the scene. Fire sprinklers provide a level of protection that no other technology can offer. Each sprinkler is individually activated by the high heat from flames. In about 90% of fires in homes with sprinklers, only one sprinkler is needed to control the fire. When activated, the sprinkler will control or put out the flames, minimize the spread of deadly smoke and gases, and give the family inside additional time to escape safely.
Apparently, there was an electrical short, and that's what started the fire. That fire was so fast and so furious. The sprinkler system was activated, so it responded immediately to the flames, to the smoke. Our house is still standing, we're still all alive, including our pets, and so it was an enormous success.
Fire sprinklers will often confine smoke, heat, and fire damage to a single room. The water flow from sprinklers is only a fraction of the water damage caused by the high-powered hoses used by firefighters.
An added benefit is decreasing the risk that our firefighters are going to have to go into once they do arrive at the scene of that fire.
Simply put, fire sprinklers protect property and, more importantly, save lives. That's why I've installed them in my home. This is a new development of 200 homes. We're just down the street from the finished home. At this house, the fire sprinkler system has been roughed in. It'll give us a good chance to see a typical residential fire sprinkler installation. The national standard for home fire sprinklers is the National Fire Protection Association standard, NFPA 13D. Now, the standard is intended primarily to save lives, but it can also dramatically reduce property damage. The goal is to provide 10 minutes of sprinkler water on a fire to allow the occupants to escape and the fire department to respond. Under NFPA 13D, sprinklers are installed in living areas. This means that they are not required in smaller bathrooms, closets, garages, carports, attached open areas, attics, and concealed spaces that are not used for living. Now, many local authorities have requirements that exceed the minimum established by NFPA 13D. As with all codes, you must take care to determine and adhere to local fire codes. These requirements may differ from community to community. There are two common types of fire sprinkler systems, both acceptable under NFPA 13D. The first is an independent or standalone system, and that's what's being installed in this house. Here, for example, you can see the plastic sprinkler pipe, and back there the copper pipe for the domestic water supply. The second is a multi-purpose or network system. This system feeds both the sprinklers and the cold water fixtures with the same pipes. What you notice is a large number of smaller pipes that run to various locations of the home, supplying the sprinklers and the cold water fixtures. We're in a two-story house with a full basement in the Midwest. Now, in this case, the water source is the municipal water supply. That means the 10-minute duration required by NFPA 13D really shouldn't be a problem. The water will always be available when it's needed and should never run out. Now, if you're not on a municipal water supply, for example, if you have a well or your water pressure is very low, then you'll need a tank and a pump to provide that pressure. The fire sprinkler system attaches to the main water supply right here at this T. Then it passes through a backflow valve, up into this riser, through a pressure gauge, finally through a flow switch and alarm. Now, over here is the drain and test assembly. The flow switch detects any water flow through the system and is wired to an inside alarm bell. The flow switch can also be wired to an outside horn or strobe to alert neighbors to sprinkler activation in case fire strikes when no one is at home, or to a monitored security system. While NFPA 13D does not require water flow alarms, this is one area where many local jurisdictions have additional requirements. Backflow prevention devices intended to isolate the sprinkler system from the household water supply are also required in many local jurisdictions. However, backflow prevention devices and water meters can reduce the amount of pressure available to the system. Therefore, larger taps and water meters of at least 1 inch should be installed. I strongly recommend you sit down with the Water Authority in the early stages of planning. That's the best time to discuss tap and meter sizes and any backflow issues.
From a builder standpoint and a developer standpoint, if you can put fire sprinkler systems in homes and reduce the amount of infrastructure that is required from the local jurisdiction, it's clearly a win-win situation for everybody involved.
It pays to have an early planning meeting with the fire service as well. They, more than anyone else, appreciate the life-saving value of fire sprinklers. You're likely to find local officials receptive and accommodating to your plans for fire sprinklers. In a moment, we'll talk in more detail about trade-ups, incentives, and alternatives for subdivision plans that can significantly reduce land development and construction costs in exchange for sprinklered homes. Right now, though, let's continue our walkthrough of this standard sprinkler installation.